Good evening. We apologize for our delay. Welcome to our board meeting of Tuesday, October 3rd. Please note that this meeting will be video and audio recorded. We welcome to the podium our student trustee Ingrid, who is going to lead us in prayer and the national anthem and the oath. Thank you, Ingrid.
Thank you. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Lord, thank you for each moment, for the blue sky moment, the softening earth, the refreshing wind, for the sap flowing, for the birds nesting, the yellow bush, for my full heart and the joy rising in me. Soften me to receive whatever comes as a gift and to praise you in it.
Lord, thank you for each moment, for the twilight moment, the pause, the good tired, for the quiet reflection, the slowing down, the mysterious sunset, and for my contented heart, and the wisdom growing inside me.
Gentle me to feel whatever comes as gift, and to praise you in it.
Lord, thank you for each moment, for the midnight moments, the loneliness, the fretful wondering, for the watchful stars, the long ache, the sleepless wait, for my restless heart, and the hope straining in me.
Focus me to see whatever comes as a gift, and to praise you in it.
Lord, thank you for each moment, for the high noon moment, the job, the necessary routine, for the sweaty struggle, the high-risk challenge, the impulse to change, for my fierce heart and the courage gathering in me.
Ground me to wrestle with whatever comes as a gift and to praise you for it. Lord, thank you for each moment, for the sharing moment, the listening, the unguarded word, for the frail openness, the ready smile, the accepted difference, for my passionate heart and the trust rooting in me. Stretch me to grow with whatever comes as a gift and to praise you for it. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. I affirm that I will be faithful to bear true allegiance to Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of Canada, her heirs and successors, and that I will faithfully observe the laws of Canada and fulfill my duties as a Canadian citizen.
We have no motions adopted in camera as of yet and no information received because we didn't get that far down on the agenda, but it will be done after this particular section of the meeting. So I have to ask, are there any additions to the agenda? Trustee Murray.
if I may add a notice of motion on executive compensation.
All right, and that will be an information 10.5. Anyone else? No? Okay. Thank you. Can I have a mover, please? Trustee Trites, the seconder. Trustee Rowe, all in favor? Thank you very much. Any declarations of conflict of interest? We don't have any presentations or delegations. We'll go down to approval of the minutes. Can I have a mover, please, for 6.1? Trustee Ian Tomasi, seconded by?
I have a concern about the minutes, Madam Chair.
Pardon me?
A concern about the minutes?
You have a absolutely. Go ahead, Trustee Quinn.
On page 11 of our package, in 10.10, the second paragraph, concerns regarding a pseudoscientific method were expressed. Staff explained that the tool would help to self-reflect on own leadership style.
Okay, I'm sorry, could you repeat that again? We're just
Sure, we're on page 11 of our package.
Yes?
In number 10.10 of the minutes.
10.10, yes?
I don't think the line in the second paragraph properly covers my reservations about an anagram and our board spending money to send senior staff on training an anagram, and the concerns not only about the pseudoscientific nature of that program, but also the concerns shared by the U.S. bishops. So I went to look for the video of the meeting online. It wasn't available yet, so I'd like to ask that we hold that until I can see the video.
All right.
We can revisit this another time, because I don't think it reflects my point from the meeting.
Go ahead.
Madam Chair, do you have a suggestion, or do you want to wait? We have audio we can listen to, and we could wait for the video. It's up to you. Trustee Quinn, if you have language that you would wish in the minutes?
No, I can't add language afterwards.
All right, so we'll defer these minutes then to the next meeting. We can do that?
Thank you.
We'll see what we can find in the meantime, okay? Trustee Carabella.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair, since we're going to review the minutes, I just had a point on page 7, which is point 8.7. Again, actual and projected enrollment was provided for St. James and St. Joseph's Catholic Elementary Schools in Oakville. And the point that was made is that the enrollment has increased. I thought that that's the point of...
it had increased, if I recall, by a handful or something like that, a small number?
Yeah.
If I recall, Fred, did you answer that question? Do you recall that? Okay, so we can add that number, whatever number it was. It was, I don't know, 8.7. It was a handful or 8 or something like that. Okay, we'll make that change. Yes.
Meeting minutes are really just to record what was decided at a meeting. They're not to be a verbatim recording of the meeting. That's true.
Otherwise we'd have very long minutes, right? Thank you. Okay, thank you. Those two won't take long. All right, so we're going to hold the minutes being approved until the next meeting. Okay, Rosie? Business outstanding, items outstanding from that minutes, and maybe this is a good opportunity to talk about what we were speaking about a little bit earlier. Do you want to lead that? Shall I lead that? Maybe Trustee Carabella wants to speak to that.
Through you, Madam Chair. At the last meeting, Trustee Carabella asked if we could be sure to record the follow-up items that staff are being asked to complete when questions come from reports. So it was our intention last week to clean up all the requests that came from the last September board meeting, and moving forward, add a new chart here. As we start tonight, if there are further information, we would track that as business arising tonight. And we're also going to keep that chart about the policies, because that's what the trustees have been used to. So you'll see 2 charts. And this one's blank because we sent out an email on Friday following up with a number of items, and now we can begin fresh tonight.
Trustee Carabella?
Thank you for that. So I did notice in the minutes that the items that we were following up on are going to be, were included. And I think, just that I understand correctly, afterwards, you are going to still put all those answers as an appendix to the next board package.
Yeah, we will upload that as at the end of the next board package.
Thank you.
Another item related to that is that sometimes, and we've discussed this before at board tables, sometimes trustees ask for a report on a particular issue. Reports take a lot of time to write by senior staff. You can spend a week on a report, at least a week, and it takes time away from what they should be doing. So if it's a small thing, such as some of the questions that have been coming in, fine. But if it's something that they have to write a report on, then that requires a resolution of the board. And that's nothing new. It's been done for decades here, and we just remind ourselves periodically. Okay? Finished with 7.1, so now we're into action items. 8.1, Milton number 8, Ford Catholic Elementary School Boundary Review. Superintendent Cipriano, Mr. Merrick, and Superintendent Nagoy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And through you, I present this action report regarding the Milton number 8 Ford Catholic Elementary School Boundary Review. The Boyne Secondary Plan in Milton is located just south of St. Louis St. Laurent Avenue, west of Tremaine Road and north of Britannia Road and east of James Snow Parkway. The new homes in this development are currently being redirected to St. Benedict Catholic Elementary School. And that's resulted in St. Benedict having 144% utilization rate of their capacity. And that's expected to increase. On November 21st, 2016, the board received correspondence from the Ministry of Education indicating that the business case submitted for Milton number 8 had been approved. Milton number 8 will be the first of 4 elementary schools planned to open in the Boyne Secondary Plan. Staff expects the new school to be ready for students by September 2018, so 11 short months from today. And as such, school boundaries will need to be established. As I mentioned in the staff report 2 weeks ago, the proposed boundary review will follow the minor school boundary review process as outlined in our administrative procedure school boundary review process. The Advisory School Boundary Review Committee composition will include reps from the St. Benedict Catholic Elementary School community and especially from parents from the Boyne community, as this is the group that is expected to be most impacted. As part of this action report, you also have before you the list of projected milestones being proposed, those that have been completed to date and those projected in the weeks and months ahead, concluding with the opening, of course, in September 2018. Staff recommends that a school boundary review process be initiated to establish school boundaries for Milton Ford number 8 Catholic Elementary School in order to address the anticipated enrollment pressure at St. Benedict Catholic Elementary School. You have before you the resolution outlining this recommendation, and myself, Fred, or Ryan here tonight will be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Trustee Ian Tomasi?
I'll move it. I'll move the motion.
In favor?
In favor?
In favor?
In favor.
In favor?
In favor.
In favor.
In favor.
In favor.
In favor.
Thank you. All right. I have no staff reports, so we're into information items already. Isn't that good? Okay. 10.1, student trustee update. Trustee Ingrid.
Thank you. So for our student trustee report, we'd just like to talk about how our senators are continuing to solidify and build the relationships they've already made with their international students. And some of the activities that we've seen our senators do are having lunch with their international students, inviting them to football games, and just trying to build those relationships and make those students feel as included into the community as possible. The OSTA ACO Fall General Meeting registration packages have gone out along with the preliminary agenda, and the event's going to take place from November 2nd to November 5th. and we're so excited to be able to attend and to work with the student trustees from all across Ontario. We've decided to do the pillars this evening. So under the pillar of belonging, at Assumption, in the month of September, our students have shared on the chapel walls kind of their hopes for the new year, and in the month of October, they're sharing what they're thankful for. And a lot of students across our board have attended We Day in Toronto. One of our senators reached out to me and told me that it was a really eye-opening experience to a bunch of issues that she wasn't made aware of before, and it was so insightful to hear the actual students that went up on the stage talk about what they have done on their schools and how they've embraced kind of the spirit of initiative. And as a senator, they all felt, she felt very motivated to bring that advice back and that enthusiasm that she got from the event back to her own school community and use that to spark something else there. So she felt it was a very engaging and amazing opportunity to have taken place from. A lot of schools are also doing pink days and all sorts of pink day festivities like pink football games in order to spread awareness on bullying at their schools. And Corpus and Holy Trinity held a Orange Shirt Day to honor residential schools and the survivors of residential schools and those who never returned. And St. Thomas Aquinas is starting up their License to Learn tutoring program, in which peers work alongside peers to strengthen learning skills and kind of build their communities through learning together. So that's under the pillar of belonging.
Thank you. Under the pillar of believing, lots of schools have begun with their grade 9 orientations, which are usually chaplain organized. So they've gone on faith retreats and to get to know their graduating class, as well as to explore the theme of faith and how it fits into their academic career. There's been all schools have had school opening masses. I know at HT we had a ceremony led by Sherry Sable and Steve Paquette, in which we participated in a smudging ceremony. And overall, as the school year kicks off, much more masses and activities like this are to be expected.
Good evening. So under the pillar of achieving, September has been a busy month for all our students, getting back into the swing and everything. But as we move into October, our fall sports have begun through all of our secondary schools, such as football, lacrosse, and field hockey. Many secondary schools are hosting their honor roll and award ceremony dinners, breakfasts, and galas this month. Holy Trinity had their Friday Night Lights football game, which they won against Christ the King, 49-0. We took a loss to raise money for a staff member battling cancer. So that was really nice from HT. Thank you.
Thank you very much to our wonderfully talented student trustees. Any questions for the ladies? No? Okay. Thank you very much, trustees. That was excellent. 10.2, school educational field trips. Superintendent Pinelli, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Please find attached approved school educational trips, and I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you. Any questions on school trips? All right. Thank you very much, Superintendent Pinelli. 10.3, 2017-2018 portable classrooms and surplus classroom summary. Mr. Merrick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So just a quick update on our portable classrooms and surplus classrooms across the board. For portable classrooms, we now have 164 portable classrooms across the board, which is up about 30 from last year, and 29 of those went to Milton, and in 4 schools alone in Milton. So Bishop Redding, Jean Vanier, Queen of Heaven, and St. Benedict had a total of a net of 29 in the positive direction last year. And we had other various shuffles throughout Oakville, Burlington, and Halton Hills, but much less significant and fairly net neutral in those areas as opposed to Milton. On the surplus classroom side, we now have 110 surplus classrooms across the board, which is down 18 from last year. It's only about 6.5% of our rooms across the board are empty or surplus. And we saw modest reductions in Burlington, Milton, Halton Hills, and Oakville was neutral last year. So still not a lot of empty space across the board, and our portable number is growing as we didn't have any new construction this year. Be happy to take any questions you might have.
Thank you. Any questions? Trustee Quinn?
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair. So what does this report tell us about our planning and perhaps the being a little bit behind the curve in building in Milton when we have 30 portables coming in one season? How far are we behind in this wave of growth that we know is coming or already there?
Through you, Madam Chair. As we know from our capital priority submissions, we're always kind of giving the ministry the heads up on future builds and future needs that we see in those areas. However, they like to typically see the students in portables before we move them into bricks and mortar buildings. They really want to make sure the enrollment materializes before they invest the money in bricks and mortar schools. So yes, we are usually a little bit behind, but as the ministry funding becomes available, we build the schools as quick as possible and find permanent accommodations for those students.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you very much, Mr. Merrick. 10.4, 2017-2018 Planning Services Work Plan, 2018 Education Development Charges EDC Bylaw, and 2018 Long-Term Capital Plan. Superintendent Nagoya, you going to do that all at once? Okay,
it's all one report. We felt a little bit sad that we only had one report on this agenda, so we made sure the title was as long as three of them. So this is an information report for trustees that outlines a couple of areas that Planning Services is undertaking this year. The first one being the developing a new 2018 Educational Development Charge bylaw that will be approved by the board in May of 2018 and will come in effect in June. This is a review that is conducted in a joint effort with the public board. The second undertaking is the development of the 15-year long-term capital plan with the focus into the first 5 years to be approved by the board by June 2018. And this plan will identify both future accommodation needs due to growth, as well as so new schools, as well as any declining enrollment pressures throughout the board. And myself or Fred would be happy to take any questions trustees may have.
Thank you. Any questions at all on this whole area? None? All right. Mark, I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, do we anticipate that that the cost of land will rise in 2018 even more so, or are we behind in our EDC charges to start with? And if the price of land stayed the same or went down, would we reduce the EDC charges? So there.
Well, I'll start with the first part of that, and in terms of the methodology in calculating the EDC charges, I'll pass it on to Fred. We are currently behind because it is a model that recovers the EDC tax, the levies. It recover the costs over a period of 15 years. So as a growing board, we will always be behind in that regards, and we are not alone in the sector if they are in a growth position. Other boards would be in a similar situation. We do have an EDC deficit around the $40 million mark. And that is because we purchase sites faster than we accumulate the revenues to cover for the costs. Yes, the site prices have been going up steeply in the past few years, and it's expected to continue as well over the next year. And in terms of methodology, I'm not sure if Fred would like to add anything else.
Through Madam Chair, in terms of addressing the reserve balance right now, that's definitely a part of the methodology in determining the charge. So the closer we get to zero, that also has an impact in reducing the overall charge. The charge is also based predominantly on the future 15-year forecasted land purchases that we have to look at current site values based off of an updated appraisal, and then escalate that factor over that 15-year period and see what the total demand is in terms of land, and that is also amortized over 15 years and the charges associated to it. So it's both the current reserve balance that is negative right now and the total amount of land. So over time, as our land requirements start to reduce because the region is being built out And as our deficit begins to dwindle, the charge will, in effect, reduce over time. But not anytime soon, I can assure you.
Any other questions? No? All right, thank you very much. Roxana, Fred, thank you. All right, 10.5, notice of motion, Trustee Murray.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Whereas executive compensation is one responsibility of the Halton Catholic District School Board, whereas taxpayers expect and are entitled to transparency in public sector compensation, be it resolved the HCDSB develop an executive compensation policy by March 2017 that includes but is not limited to a framework of compensation for the director and executive officers, and that provides trustees with final approval on all changes to annual compensation.
Thank you, Trustee Murray. You'll make sure that Rosie gets a copy of that, and that will come up at the next board meeting for you to discuss. Thank you. 2018? Okay, thank you. All right, miscellaneous information. You have there 11.1, minutes of the June 12th, 2017 Audit Committee meeting. Trustee Rowe, did you wish to comment at all? No? Okay. 11.2, minutes of the June 13th, 2017 Policy Committee meeting. Trustee Danko, did you wish to comment on anything?
No, I think those are fine.
Thank you. And minutes of the 11.3 minutes of the June 19th, 2017 SEAC meeting. And you know, you have 4 trustees here that sit on SEAC, as we do have a wonderful representative sitting down there also on SEAC. So 12, correspondence 12.1, the email regarding in-school wear. That is page 39 of your package. Sorry, Trustee Carabella?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to know why this letter was put on the package and not others that we've received about the uniform. Like, what was the criteria for this particular letter and not the others? Thank you.
Through you, Madam Chair, the letter was addressed directly to the Secretary of the Board, and that's why I put it on. And I also responded to that, but I didn't include the response, so.
We don't have any questions. Neither one of our guests wrote a question for tonight. Oh, okay. So we will be going back into in-camera. So I will ask that perhaps we reconvene at 8:20. We'll have a break. We're going to in-camera. Well, that's fine with me. So we will just give our guests a minute to leave.